So good morning. Without waiting for anything, we will start the next section, Refraction, Bread and Butter. The first talk is by Dr. Professor Sarsanamam. So he will be talking enriching refraction. I will be talking on selection of spectacles. Dr. Radharamanam will be speaking on the spectacle intolerance. And finally, Dr. Rao will be speaking how to start your own optical shop. So over to Professor Sarsanamam, 10 minutes.
So, good morning to all of you. And at the outset, let me thank Professor C.V. Andrews for including me as co-instructor in this session. So, the topic given for me was tips for enriching refraction. So, I think by what Andrews sir meant by enriching refraction is probably to enhance your quality of refraction, or probably by enhancing the quality of refraction, probably you can enrich yourselves also, probably in terms of monetary also. So if we look at refraction, we as ophthalmologists, we are surrounded by a lot of gadgets nowadays. But for refraction as such, you need very little gadgets. You just need a trial set. You need a good retinoscope in the form of a good streak retinoscope and a trial set. That's all that you need for a good refraction. But you should understand that in addition to this, what is not mentioned in this slide is, along with that, you should have a basic knowledge of what retinoscopy and refraction is like. So that's probably the most essential thing in refraction than these things. So, before doing into how you enrich your refraction, I think I will spend 2 minutes on the basics of retinoscopy and refraction. So, with either with a streak retinoscope or with a reflecting retinoscope, what you do is you reflect light onto the. So, patient is seated in front of you. For ease of our convenience of calculation, we will say that the patient is seated 1 meter in front of you. With this retinoscope, you reflect light onto the patient's eye. So this illuminates a patch of the retina. So this light gets reflected back. So the source of light, the illuminated patch of the retina, acts as an object. And that forms an image at the far point of the patient's eye. So I seated 1 meter in front of the patient, you have thrown light into the patient's eye. There is as an object, there is that light patch on the retina, and it's reflected back, and that gets focused at the far point of the patient's eye. So what you want to find out is, why is the far point of the patient's eye? So the far point of the patient's eye in this situation will depend upon whether the patient may be either emmetropic or myopic or hyperopic. So the far point will depend upon. So this is what I said. The emergent beam will come to a focus at the far point of the patient's eye. So you can't go in search of the far point. The patient. So what you do is, by retinoscopy, you bring the patient's far point to your eye. So you make the patient's far point as, if you are working at 1 meter, at the what you call as a neutralization, you have made the patient's far point as your eye, or your working distance. So which means you have made the patient at neutralization myopic to the extent of -1 diopter. Because, so we really can see. So suppose, so I told the patient can be myopic, hypermetropic, or emmetropic. So do we have the other point? So you see the second line. And if the patient is myopic by 1 diopter, his far point is at 1 meter. So when you are seated 1 meter in front of the patient, and the patient in front of you, if he is myopic by 1 diopter, even when you start the retinoscopy, you find that it is neutralized, because the patient's far point is your working distance. So what will you do in the cross? You write as 0, 0. right? Because already it is neutralized. Because you have made the patient is already myopic to the extent of minus 1 diopter. So from the 0, 0, you put minus 1, the patient's refractive error is minus 1. That is what it means, right? So we will see the other things also. If it's an emmetropic eye, the rays are reflected back, and the far point of the emmetropic patient is infinity. So the rays will go and focus at the far point is at infinity. So when the patient's far point is at infinity, you can use a lens which depends upon your working distance to bring it to focus of your eye. So if the patient is emmetropic and the rays of light are divergent and it goes to infinity, if your working distance is 1 meter, if you put in plus 1, no, it will be the far point of the patient will become your eye. And if it's an hypermetropic eye, the far point is a virtual point behind the patient's eye. And the rays from there are divergent. So depending upon the hypermetropic status of the patient, the rays will be divergent. And you will have to have this virtual divergent rays. The far point is virtual, but the rays are divergent. You have to bring it to focus to your eye. So we saw that if the patient is myopic to the extent of minus 1 diopter, if you are working at 1 meter, even when you start, it is neutralized. So we will see. Suppose we will go to this line again. If the patient is myopic to the extent of 2 diopters, so what happens? The patient's far point is half meter. So the rays from the patient's eye, so the patient's far point is between you and the examiner and the patient. So the rays from the patient's eye converge between you and then it diverges. So what you see is the rays once converged and then diverged. Suppose the patient is myopic to the extent of 0.5 diopters. Myopic but 0.5 diopters. What happens? The far point is at 2 meter, so it is focused behind your eye. So any situation where the patient's myopia is more than 1 diopter, if your working distance is 1 meter, it will focus between you and the patient and then start diverging. That's why you get an against movement in myopia. Whereas in all the other situations, the patient is myopic less than 1 diopter, or the patient is hyperopic or emmetropic where the rays is divergent or parallel, which has been focused between you and the patient, there you get a with movement which is neutralized with a plus lens. So, and with that value which you get in the cross, you have made the patient myopic to the extent of minus 1 diopter, and you subtract from that and you get the patient's refractive status. Assuming that we are not considering if the patient we are putting in cycloplegic or not. This is just for the distance correction. I mean, working distance correction. If there is a strong cycloplegic, you make the cycloplegic correction as well. Okay, so that's the basics of that. So this we have already told. So then, ideally, when you do a refraction, you do an objective, and for doing an objective refraction, for doing retinoscopy, it is not always a must that you should dilate the pupil. If the media is clear and the pupillary diameter is sufficient enough, especially in almost all the young patients with a clear lens, you can do an retinoscopy. Ideally, you start with an objective before going to the subjective. So, to enrich yourselves, if you want to, so what are the things you have to have? You should have a good streak retinoscope, and also you should know how to use a streak retinoscope. What is this virgin sleeve is like, or how do you make use of that? So, a good understanding of the streak retinoscope and the autorefractometer. So, because days are changing, you should have gadgets with you to have patients with you. And autorefractometer is an instrument which can be a good companion for your refraction practice. But you should know the problems that it will create, especially when you do autorefractometer in children with good accommodation. What happens is, in this refractometers, you have an object between, the patient is looking at the object inside the refractometer, and the patient tends to accommodate, so it brings in more minus power. So that's the problem. So to make good for that, you have got what is called as an open field autorefractometer, where the object is apparently at a far distance and the problem of accommodation will not come in. So this is another set of gadgets which will help you. This is called photo screeners, especially in screening of small children, pre-verbal children. If you want to screen, you can make use of these gadgets. We'll see how we make use of this. So it's most of you might have heard what's a Bruckner's test, where you can do with a simple ophthalmoscope, you see the reflex of the pupil. So this is basically based on that Bruckner's test. So just 1 minute. So it's essentially a photograph of the patient's binocularly it's taken, and you look at the reflex, and in a nebutrope, the retinal reflex will be uniform across the pupil, whereas in myope, what will happen is, if you look at the reflex, there will be a crescent at the bottom of the pupil. In a hyperopic reflex, it will be at the top of the pupil. So it will help in screening, not the exact dioptric powers it will give you, but in a large-scale screening of pre-verbal children, it will be useful. So even this duochrome test will help you probably. I think you just read it up because the time is over. Normally it should be for the spherical final correction, 0.25 correction, you can make use of this duochrome test. How you evaluate it, if we get time, I'll tell you later. And also this is a simple but useful instrument for the final refining of the cylindrical correction, the Jackson's Crow cylinder. And even these small gadgets, which are not costly at all, even a synopic slit can enrich your refraction for finding out the principal axis of astigmatism in a case of, because it's a very simple instrument, but if you know how to use it, even this can enrich your practice. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sasana. After hearing about the refraction, I will just go through what is the spectacle frame and lens available in the market, what is the technology, what are the innovations. So now everything is a lifestyle dispensing. That all depends upon the self-image, occupation, leisure activities, and personal values of the individual. So as far as the personal visual correction is concerned, you have a vital role here, because you are an expert to recommend the right spectacle and lens to the patient. So I will just go through what are the things available in the market. So how you can satisfy the patients. Everybody prefer for the best. Money, nowadays nobody is not much bothered. So they have a better visual experience. Then they will come back with their relatives or friends. So what are the eyeglass and frames available in the market? So what is single vision? So single vision glasses are mainly used for refractive errors, myopia, presbyopia, etc. Then reading glasses, bifocals, multifocals, that is progressives, that is for the refractive presbyopias, and sunglasses with power, and vocational spectacles. So these are the vocational glasses available. These are the half-eye reading, then safety spectacles, swimming goggles, sports glasses, driving mask, computer glass, welding glass, etc. So frame rate is half-eye reading. It's a very cheap, only 150 to 200 rupees. Then full rim, 360 degree, there's a frame. Rimless or three pieces with a nose bridge. Then supra frame, upper part there is a frame, lower part there is only thread only, and clip-on lenses for computer use, etc. Then the frame materials, time old material was metal, but only problem, corrosion is the problem. Now the younger generation use the shell or carbon, they call it plastic frames. And the older people use the titanium, that's the most safe and everything. Stainless steel and aluminum is out of market, and gold nobody can afford nowadays. And lens varieties, single vision lenses for myopia and hypermetropia, then bifocals. If the upper part is round, it is called a cryptop. If the upper part is flat, it is called a D bifocal. Trifocal is now out of market. It has been taken by multifocal or progressive lenses. And lens material, the time mold material was crown glass, highly transparent and scratch resistant. Only problem, weight is the problem. Now it is going out of market. It is taken by Columbia resin 39. So that is comparatively cheaper and thinner and weight also less. But it CR39 also now coming to replace by polycarbonate, that is thin, light, strong and thermoplastic. Only problem, scratch resistant coating is required and it is little more expensive. And if you want a high power, high myopia, you go for a high index lens more than 1.56 diopter refractive index. And if you have day and night lenses, photochromic option is also available. And lens material, the properties are the refractive index, specific gravity, Abbe value, the quality of reflection and UV protection. And based on all these qualities, the best lens now available in the market is polycarbonate with 1.58 refractive index. And nowadays, MR6, MR7, MR8 is also available. That is also super lenses. The plastic lens is also CR39. This is safer than glass, but it can break also. And the photochromic option also available. It is not ideal for the three-piece frame because it can break. I will show you later. Photochromic lens means it can change the color for UV protection. Or previously, it is called a day and night lenses for the ordinary glasses. And for the CR39 polycarbonate, it is called a transition series of lens. And polycarbonate lens, as I told you, it is unbreakable. It is a bulletproof plastic lenses that is ideal for children, and UV protection is also available. The aeroplane and bullet car, they are using that glass. And this is the, you can see, it's a CR39 ordinary plastic lenses, which is breaking when 500 gram weight is dropped. But if you give a polycarbonate or trilogy lens, you can see that the 500 gram is dropped, it is not breaking. So if you, it is ideal lens for children, polycarbonate. So S-free high index lens is also available for chromatic aberration and everything. It is 46% thinner and 46% lighter than glasses. You can, your facial expression and appearance also will increase. It become thinner by 46%. Lot of lens treatment is available like UV coating, tinting, anti-reflective coating, scratch resisting coating, transition of photochromic choice also available. Why you should have a protection of all these things? Because there is a UV light C, B and A. UV C will be protected by ozone layer of the atmosphere. UV B will be falling on the cornea, and UV A will come to the lens and can produce a cataract. So if you have a UV protection coating, it will prevent cataract, pterygium formation, ARMD, etc. So on the base lens, you can have a hard coating, you have a UV coating, you have an anti-reflection coating of 7 colors, VibGeo, and over that you have a hydrophobic coating also possible. So what is tinting? Tinting is comparatively cheaper. It is, dye uses melanin, sp2 and brown tint. So you dip the CR39 or polycarbonate in the solution for some time, it will give a color. Only problem, after a few months it will fade away, but comparatively cheaper, only 200 rupees. What is scratch resistant coating? That is a protection for CR39. It's not a 100% protection, but it gives some protection. Reflection of the lens is a main problem while reading or while driving. So for that, you should have a AR coating or anti-reflection coating. With that, 99.6% of the light will be transmitted through the lens. Only 0.4% will be reflected. So that is better for the night driving and everything. You will not miss the traffic signal, or clarity will increase. Not only the clarity, your appearance or cosmetic appearance also will increase. You can see the compare the with and without coating. So one of the problem with the lens is smudging or oil fingerprint on the lens. For that, you have a hydrophobic coating or water resistant coating is also available for rainy season also. Another problem with the lens is optifob coating. So when you enjoy a tea, hot tea, you can fogging of the lens, or when you come out from the air-conditioned car, there will be fogging. For that, anti-fogging coating also available. And when you go to Himalaya or beach or high ranges or beach, etc., you can have a special lenses that are called polarized lenses available. That is myself traveling to Himalayas. So that the market is available as polarized lenses with a single vision lenses, single vision with the power, progressive polarized lens. Everything is available in the market nowadays. Photochromic polarized lens also available that can change the color, depends upon the intensity of the light. That is ideal for driving also. It is at 10 o'clock, it is at 12 o'clock, it is at 2 o'clock. So a lot of sunglasses available, sports and games, with the power, without power, with the tinting, with the coating, everything is available for different type of games and sports, etc. And polarized 3D lenses are available that if you want to enjoy the 3D films like My Dear Kuttichatan or Avatar or something, all these lenses are now available. So with the UV protection and the polarized lens, watching TV and everything with a three-dimensional view. And right spectacle for kids, you should always go for polycarbonate or CR39, never prescribe glasses for children. And there's a separate frames are available for boys and girls. And ideally, you should have a aspheric lens should be given with the UV protection. And there's you have to motivate the child for use the glass, so you should have a putting on and taking them off. Some training should be given. You can arrange a party with the other children who are using spectacle and everything, and allow the child to select the frame. Then he may use the frame glass also. And for this presbyopic age 40, you can have a separate glasses for distance or near, or you can have a bifocal glasses, but you may miss the intermediate area. Or you can have a progressive lens so that you can have a near distance and intermediate area. So progressive lens, bifocals, you can enjoy the TV and newspaper, but you may miss the coffee or morning coffee. But if you have a progressive lens, you can see the morning coffee also in between. So, but fitting of the progressive lens is very important. The optical center should come to the lower margin of the pupil, and the fitting cross should come to the center of the pupil. And these are the two engraved circles on the lens that will be permanent. If you make a line through these lines, it will pass through the optical center, the lower margin of the pupil. All other lines will disappear after washing. This is a near point correction, and this is additional near point, 1.75. So for selection of spectacle is very important for progressive glasses because the size should be minimum 34 millimeter and the height should be, the fitting height should be about 18 millimeter. Now with the newer progressive lens, the fitting height can be 40 millimeter also. The problem with the progressive lens is that the distance and the near vision is more clear, intermediate area is very narrow. All these blue or light blue area will be distorted or glare will be there. That's a problem with the progressive lens. Unless you are used to progressive lens, it will be difficult. If you are using bifocal for 10 years, never go for progressive lens. But at the age of 40, you can start with the progressive lens. And depends upon your occupation, hard design, soft design, symmetric, asymmetric, different type of progressive lenses available, depends upon your occupation and everything. So if you have an advanced digital progressive lens, the peripheral distortion will be reduced to some extent so that you may not miss the football play, the goal, or you may not miss the traffic signal if you are using an advanced digital progressive lens. Of course, the price may go a little high. And when you're fitting a progressive lens, all these measurements are very essential: eye anatomy, ergonomy, face anatomy, wrap angle, pantoscopy, tilt, pupillary, interpupillary distance, back vertex distance, everything should be measured properly. And now computer will help you to follow all these measurements with a software, Visu Office. You can measure all the things with the help of computer, and you put the spectacle with the lens, the computer will mark everything, so the fitting can be very easy. Accurate fitting of progressive lens can be done with the Visu Office software. And this software, you can give the order also to the company. Company take the order, they select the blank, they will do the processing, polishing, laser marking, coating, and finally the finished lens they will send by courier. So only your job is to fit the lens only. And computer vision syndrome is one of the problem with headache and eye strain with the IT people and everything, with the dry eye strain, backache, neck pain, etc. So the treatment for computer vision syndrome or CVS is 3B's approach. So frequent blinking in between, frequent washing of the eyes, take a deep breathing in between, and a break, micro break, mini break, maxi break, etc. in between. When you are going to the toilet or when you are for lunch or tea or anything, you take a break also. So that's called the 3B's approach for computer vision syndrome. As far as spectacle is concerned, ergonomy is also important with the position, the chair, the sitting, the height, etc. also important. And as far as computer spectacle is concerned, there's a lot of spectacle is available for normal vision spectacle, computer reading glasses, occupational progressive lenses, flip focals, pinhole spectacles, PG magnifier, etc. for computer use. So what is a computer spectacle? It is a multifocal S-free progressive design for both near and intermediate area. Normal progressive, there is more area for distance and near, but the computer progressive lens, it is more area for intermediate and near area. So all the international brands, Ksos, SLR, Panorama available in the market. And those who are not a presbyopic, younger IT people also, you can have a plus 0.25 diopters. Photochromic UV protected glass can be used. That will be a little relaxation of the accommodation with the UV protection and everything. So any younger people also, you can advise a 0.25 spectacle for computer use with the photochromic coating. And for those who cannot afford these photochromic or computer glasses, you can use clip-on lenses or flip focal lenses. Your ordinary spectacle, you can add on lenses. You can remove at your own convenience, etc. That's very cheap also. So computer use, you can have a ordinary reading glasses, you can have a ordinary bifocal glasses, and you can have your own progressive glasses. But ideally, is occupational progressive computer glass that is little more expensive. And regarding the selection of frame and lens, the market is flooded with all these things. Shell, younger people prefer, and titanium, middle-aged people prefer, and the color, shape, everything vary from option to option. The price tag can be 1,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees, and Optimed and Safilo is Indian brands. All these international brands, original Korean, duplicate, China, everything is available in the market. And the sunglasses is flooded with all these glasses, original, duplicate, etc., with the color, shape, everything is different. These are all international brands available in the market. And price can vary from 700 rupees to 1 lakh rupees sunglasses available in the market. And lens material, no lens is manufactured in India. All the lens blank is coming from outside, especially polycarbonate lens, MR8 and 9, 7, etc. So only things they are doing some final finishing only. SLR and is the Indian brand, other brands, international brands is available in the market. Nowadays, younger generation never go to the optical shop. They purchase glass by online, that's iBrowser. Especially lens card people and everything, they are doing everything, big business, and they open the shop also in the city for service, etc. So they buy from online purchases now. And if you want to enjoy the music during the driving, especially younger people, there's a sunglass fitted with iPod and everything, with a speaker in the ear and everything, so you can enjoy the music while driving, etc. That is also available. And sunglasses fitted with the electronic sunglasses available with MP3 player or Bluetooth enabled with your mobile and etc. So you can enjoy the music while driving, while sports, outdoor games, etc. And those who cannot afford to 45-inch panoramic TV, you can have a spectacle available which can be connected to your mobile, and you can have a pseudo effect of a 45-inch TV screen effect can be done with a spectacle that is very comparatively cheaper than a 45-inch TV. And those who have a habit of sleeping the afternoon class and everything, there's a spectacle available with a sensor fitted to the frame and everything. So as soon as you bend your head or neck, so vibration will come to the ear, so that will awaken you. That type of spectacle also available nowadays. And spectacle is fitted with a lot of the X-ray glasses also available that will penetrate the skin. You can see the artery and vein clearly. That is for medical people, doctors and nurses. And smart spectacle is available. Those who are blind, that it will help you see the obstacles in front of you. A lot of research is going into computer. It is computer chip and everything. So that will help the people to read from the help of computer or write or something like that. So that a lot of research and a lot of things are going to come for blind people. And the Google company is coming with a spectacle connected with the GPS, computer, everything. So you can do, mainly medical people also for angioplasty surgery, etc. That will help. And Luxottica company is coming with a Google Glass that will enable you to watch your WhatsApp or your message or email, etc. with the spectacle and everything connected with your mobile and everything. That type of spectacle also now coming to the market. And the computer is also coming to selection of the spectacle and frame and lenses. The iPod software is available that you can, with the computer and camera, you can have a multiple frame on your face or take your photos. You can share with WhatsApp with your wife who is in Gulf. She will advise which spectacle, which frame is suitable for you because she is paying for you. And selection of spectacle also important, not only spectacle, the contact lens and the weight of the lens, everything can be computer, you can monitor with the camera and everything. The myopians can see what is appearance and everything. So the fitting of the lens is important. I think Dr. Radharaman will talk more about the fitting of the lens and all the problems. I am not going to the details. And all these software you can fed into the computer, and the computer can be connected to the digital edging machine. So the machine will do the rest of the work with the lens, with the edging, surfacing, fusing, grooving, making holes, etc. And your job is only to fit the lens into the frame, so that everything is now machine will do for you. And as far as the conclusion, I should do, spectacles are very personal for every individual. And selection depends upon your lifestyle, your occupation, your visual needs, your taste, and your budget. Of course, how much money you can spend. So any spectacle will cost you anything from 2,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees nowadays. So that all depends upon your choice. But at least is there some UV protection, anti-glare protection, and reflection protection is very essential. And nowadays people are going for a branded lens only. So go for branded lens, never go for the Chinese or Korean lens. You always ask for the bill or the guarantee card when you buy a lens and everything, because you are spending too much money for that. As far as doctors are concerned, your prescription should be very correct. Otherwise, the optical shop people will wash their hands and everything. They charge 50,000 rupees and they got 100% profit also. Poor doctor got 150 rupees or 200 rupees, and if your prescription is wrong, all the blame will be on you. So you should be very correct with your prescription also. Our motto is, wearer should see well and look good also. So finally, see better, look better, feel better, and live better. So thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you.
So thank you, Andrew sir, for that reading class from 100 rupees to whatnot, to 1 lakh plus, including the smart glasses which we are having now for the as LVS. And so the next speaker is Dr. Radha Ramanan, because we have prescribed a spectacle, but many people come back with problems. So Radha Ramanan sir is talking about what is spectacle intolerance and guidelines to prevent spectacle intolerance.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Andrews, for giving me the opportunity. And we have heard about how to give the prescription, how all this thing is. But our main problem is some of the patients will be coming back with a lot of complaints. Say sometimes it won't be our problem, but you have the responsibility to correct it. It's a common challenge. It's not that rare. It is a biggest insult. See, you know that most of the clinic, patient will come and tell you, my earlier glass was better. So this is a very tricky situation. And with the introduction of the progressive lenses, these complaints are increasing. Like bifocals, you know that different types of bifocal, you should know which patient you have to give that particular bifocal, you have to discuss with, otherwise the patient will come back. And one of the problem with the bifocal is the image jump. So they will come and tell that I want only one glass. Most of the people will come and tell you. So you have to explain it properly. And you have to encourage them to use it. And you have to tell them this is a natural thing. This is not a, they are intolerance, but it's not actually a problem. Actually, Dr. Andrews has shown all these things. When you explain all these things to the patient, you should know what is the structure of a progressive lenses. In this area, patient will go on complaining that I am seeing everything angle like this. This is a common thing when you give progressive. So we have to teach them how to use it. Every patient, if you give it, they said, all these things they will go on telling. So you have to select the progressive lens candidates. Previous progressive lens wearers is fine, but only thing is if they are using a wide intermediate zone, they shifted to a narrow zone for reduce the price, then they will have all sorts of things. First time users, we can encourage them to use progressive lenses, and highly motivated people. Some of the youngster, comparatively youngster, 40 plus and all, previously it was all females, they want progressive, now it is everyone. Difficult people are high-ad people, Previous wide segment bifocal users, individual sensitivity to vertigo and motion sickness. Sometimes this we won't consider it. Individual sensitivity to changes in vision. Some patients go on changes their vision, some glaucoma patients, diabetic patients, and all that thing you have to be very cautious. The prevention is a very important thing. So always take the history of their occupation and what is their need. So one patient was complaining about he cannot tolerate it, bifocal, all this thing. I was given glasses 2 or 3 times. But finally only he's a KCB meter reading person. He wanted the near vision on the upper part. So he realizes later, careful refraction is very important. End of the refraction, check with the patient's old glass. Whether you are doing or your refraction is doing, you do discuss with the patient what he wants. Don't prescribe it straightly. Measurements are very, very important. You can take the IPD. IPD you can take with you can select the frames also, very important. IPD measurement, you can use earlier types optician's role, still it is very useful. And you take the IPD, not only by this method from one eye to other eye, you have to measure it individually for every side, right eye and left eye, because there are a lot of facial asymmetry. One patient comes and tells you, last time also I had the problem. Is an indication that he is having some asymmetry or something. But be careful on that type of patients. Frames must be comfortable. Lens should be perpendicular to the vertical axis. Bridge also should be very convenient. Metal frames, sometimes the nose pad will tilt and they will come back with a lot of problems. You check the glass power, it is accurate, but again the patient will come back and tell you that it is not tolerable. And frames should not be on the apple of cheek, say some fluffy fatty people, they will have a lot of problems. Should not cover the eyebrows. If it is going too closer to the eye also, round frames is not that common now, but lens can rotate in that thing. Vertex distance is extremely important, especially in high errors. Your optician should fit the lens to the anterior focal point, should be large enough to give wide visual field, and the vertex distance should be same as the trial frame. That is very important. Sometimes the patient, your optician or optometrist will keep the trial frame in a different distance, and when the patient's frame is coming, it will be in a different position. So you can read, you should ask your optician to fix after taking all these measurements. Vertex distance is very important. You can take it. If the vertex distance is varies, then his field will vary, because you know that if it is much friend, see that field of vision is reduced, he cannot read it. Sometimes when you check it, every power is correct. You have to ask the patient to wear it and check it, how it is. And pandoscopic tilt is a very important thing. It brings the near zone closer to the eye and increases the field of view through the zones. It should be, what is pandoscopic tilt? It refers to the frame alignment in the up and down positions. Pandoscopic, the lens bottom is rotated towards the cheek. If it happens in the opposite way or it is in the straight, again the patient will have problems. It should be rotated towards the side. So it's very important. You have to check in every spectacle intolerance and this thing. Sometimes the tilt is okay, but when the patient wears, the optician will check it. Tilt is okay, or 10 degrees, 15 degrees, they will tell okay. But the patient will go on complaining it's not suitable, because the patient's ear position will vary. So every patient is different. So some patients, if you wear it, the tilt will change according to the ear position. Face form wrap is another important thing. You have to have the round wrap. If it is very straight, patient will have, on the extreme gazes, patient will have problems. Now the picture is changing. It is now coming to the all these measurements were taken earlier with the manual methods and all. Now the whole thing is, scenario is changing. You can get every measurement taken in different machines. So I don't have any interest on this thing, but I tried interest. But this is a machine which uses by the SLR groups. They have a Visio office. Now it is more commonly, most of the systems uses what you call the eye partner. So it's so easy for the optician. It takes all the measurements, this thing for fitting the lens. So the lens also will be manufactured according to that thing. You take the patient in front of this machine. This is a screen and there is a machine standing. You can take all the measurements in the machine. It will give you all the readings. So manually you can take only few readings. Here you will get all the readings. And this is another machine used by other company. This is, now it's a time of virtual thing. Everything is virtual. You can even have a optical shop. The next generation, you don't have even a real optical shop. You will have a virtual optical shop. You can select everything. So with this thing, you can wear this thing. This is according to our pattern of movements. The AI, artificial intelligence, will come into that fact, and the lens will be manufactured according to that particular person. So it is totally changing. The scenario is totally changing. You have to ask the patient to wear this thing. This is a frequency map, you get it. So how frequently, because there will be an image projected into the AR, this VR thing, and the way he moves and looks, according to that thing, the progressive lens will be made. This is the AI introduced progressive things. Now it's available now in Kerala. So the metamorphs will come, and this is, I am trying it. So this is a possibility of field now. So our responsibility definitely to tell the patient. Most of the time we learn everything, but we won't learn any refraction. Proper counseling of the patient who is wearing specs for the first time, shifting to the bifocal, changing the frame size, everything. We have to counsel it. Never assume. When the patient comes and tells you, I have a problem, we have a tendency to tell them, no, you don't have any problem. Most of the time, patient will be right. You are not able to detect it. So thank you. So
thank you, Dr. Radharamanan. So after for the enriching with spectacle enrollments, so we have seen enriching refraction, then selection of spectacles, spectacle enrollments. Radharamanan told that now everything will be virtual, but at least for 10 years there will be optical shop will remain. So Dr. Rohan will teach you how to start your own optical shop, because it is a income making also. So profit is more than 100%. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. As RR was telling, it is going into the virtual field. Before we reach the virtual field, we will see the real optical shop. Today, I will not be talking about the optical shop attached to a eye hospital, rather to a single-owned clinic. So if you can have a pharmacy, a coffee vending machine, and an ATM, why can't we have an optical shop? So ethics is defined, concerned with what is moral, good, bad, right and wrong. And we all know we take that Hippocratic oath during our MBBS times. Declaration of Geneva and the World Medical Association at 1948, where the duties of the medical profession has been laid down. And again, Indian Medical Council Act has come in 1956. Duties of the doctors has been registered. But good medical practice is, if you have an optical shop, it should not affect the way in which you prescribe glass or refer a patient. Running an optical shop attracts appliance by the physician. A physician should not run an open shop for sale of medicine, for dispensing prescription prescribed other than doctor, other than himself. It is not unethical for a physician to supply or prescribe drugs, remedies or appliance as long as there is no exploitation of the patient. Medical ethics is complex, ever-changing, combined various disciplines. Medicine is, as we know, is changing concepts and technology, philosophy, what is right and wrong, the law, the view of the government, what is the government policies are, sociology and theology impact on the society, meant for developing good values and principles, for maintaining top moral and social standing of the profession. We should always maintain a moral and social standing of the profession. So if refraction is the bread, the dispensing will give you the butter and jam. Then the thing is that why should you give this butter and jam to an optician who is not even qualified, who is sitting next to you? While planning an optical shop, your clinic, the location, design of the display, equipment, staff pattern, this is the fourth thing you should look into. The location, as we know, it should be combined with the reception area where the patient enters and come out. He will be seeing the optical shop and he will be able to browse through the frames available there. Design and display, as you can see, it should be neat, elegant and aesthetic. Even the interior also should be aesthetic. How much ever small it is, it should be kept very neatly and aesthetically. That is very important. And we should have a separate area for the children where the children will be able to go and pick the frames from there. So you should not keep it very high also. So you can see here, you can see the kids corner separate over there. And if you notice, there's been put some 2-3 glasses there. That is purposefully you have put it, because the first time when the child comes, he will be seeing through the lower one, and the second time he will seeing through the upper one. So he will be forcing the parents to come over there. And as we know, we don't have much, even though we don't have much the children's spectacle prescription, but if you make your that child happy, the mother will be happy, and naturally you will get the grandparents of getting operated cataract by you only. So that is the trick of giving glasses to the children. Then the frame display, as I told, it should be clean, elegant and aesthetic. And also that's the one thing we can make a difference with your optical shop. So like you go to a hotel, there should be something special on that. So that will be targeted and everything will be revolving around that. Just like that, if you don't have to have all the low vision devices in the world, but at least some sort of low vision devices you can keep it. It will not generate any money, but definitely it makes a difference with the other optical shop. And also you can give some service to the poor people or the low vision people. And I know most of the ophthalmologists don't know about the fitting area. We don't need a very huge fitting area. This much space is more than enough for a fitting area, and work has to be done here only. And you need a small optical shop. If one employee is more than enough, who can handle the dispensing as well as fitting. And software, of course, software, it is good, and it will be very good for monitoring. As we know, nowadays you cannot trust anybody. So if you have a software there, you will be able to monitor what is happening there. And you should always have a display outside your optical shop. See the display there. And the display shows what are the services you are given in the optical shop. So the patient know, you keep on reading. They will be knowing some few words here and there, and they will be searching for that. That word should be there. So whatever there in the outside optical thing, you should display it there. And of course, you should have this type of the equipment. You should have a PD meter, as correctly mentioned for the progressive glasses. You should take the interpupillary distance, both for distance as well as the near. Now, Dr. R.R. has told that Zeiss has come out with a frame which you put it, automatically all the readings will become. So if you are financially sound, you can go for that. But in the beginning, I think PD meter will do equally good job. Then you should have a supra groover. This is nothing like you can have the supra frame, no? So you can make a groove over the thing without breaking the lenses. So the supra groover, lens grinder, you see lens grinder, I will show you how it is been used. Lens grinder, then of course you should have an auto lensometer, and then a lens cutter, and a drilling machine. If you are using a 3-piece glasses, you should be able to drill for the frames to fit, and a heater. This is the workflow in the optical unit. The workflow is basically you get the glasses like this. It's a bifocal glasses. So how do you fit it? So first you take this one and put it in the lensometer. You can see down, you can see there in the lensometer, and then you mark the axis. I just put this thing just to show that. So all this when the frames are coming, there will be a dummy glass over there. So once you mark that one, you take the dummy glass out, then you mark it over the lens blocks which are got in. Then after that, you can see the cutter. With the cutter, wherever you marked it, this is the thing the fitter is doing. He will do the cutting, and after that, the below thing is polishing the head part so that there will not be any sharp edges. So, and after that, that is the thing. But if you are using a shell frame, what we have to do is that this shell frame, they will keep it in the heater so that it will be heated up, and the glass you are making will be slightly bigger. So once it cools down, it gets compressed and the fitting will be exactly perfect. And the other one, what we are showing, what previously I told, like 3-play lenses, where rimless glasses. No, you have to make the groove. So if you manually make it, sometimes it will break it. As you know, the glasses now comes are very expensive. Once you break it, you have it. They don't give it again. So you should have this type of drilling machine. Coming to the legal aspect and license, trading license, you should get it. Definitely you should, without license, you should not do it now. That will be very dangerous. Then in corporation, municipality, these are all the documents you should submit there. Submission in corporation and municipality, and it is through online, but in panchayat, usually you have to give it there manually. And the health inspector inspection will be there. GST registration is started from the 1st July 2017. Compulsory GST registration is needed now, at least I think above 40 lakhs. And if you want to buy frames from outside Kerala, definitely you should have a GST number. There is two types of scheme actually. A regular scheme for taxpayer can avail input tax and credit paid by him against an output. So in this one you have to collect the tax from the patient and you have to file it to the GST monthly. But if there is a penalty for per day, if you don't do it today, tomorrow you will be fined 50 rupees. So it is always best to entrust with a GST, what is taxpayer, he will monitor. It is very difficult for us to monitor this. And another thing is the composition tax payer, where you don't have to take the input and output, and the patient, you don't have to collect the tax from the patient. But rather than that, you should pay 1% of the total turnover in quarterly. That is the best thing. Once in 3 months only you have to give it. And to get the license, this is all the documents you have to submit. And if you are an owner, you should show the owner certificate, or the lease if you have to show the lease agreement, this thing. And how to get the license route? Get a separate door number. That is very, very important. You should get a separate door number. Then a house inspection from the municipality will be there, because the entry should be from outside only, but it should not be exposed outside also. Submit the door number and request for the starting an optical shop to the health inspector. Then the health inspector, this is all formality. Health inspector will come there, see whether there any pollution coming and all. Some of the health inspector who come there doesn't know what is fitting only. They will ask all crazy things about it. There will be any fumes coming over there and all, as if they don't know. Then site visit by the health inspector for the license of the optical shop. Then online subsidy. Then you should get the GST number. Verification of the application by the taxpayer. So this the route we are getting, and after that, of course, you have to pay file the income tax, output net profit, and 10% of the net profit for 3% says. And one thing is the gift money will not attract income tax. So you should always register with the senior citizen, your relatives or your father or mother, so that the gift money will not be attract income tax. And register your shop with your close family members who can avail this. Thank you. So now we are seeing a picture whether you are in a double mind whether to start or not. Those who are ready to start, now they are thinking a lot of things will be there. And I think you should start an optical shop along with your clinic, which will give you revenue also and happiness also. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohan. So if you have any doubt outside, you can have a discussion with Rohan how to start. He will be a consultant also for that purpose.